Hey everybody, Blind Metal Gamer here with you once again on this Wednesday, and I wanted to bring up something that I felt needs to be addressed when talking about Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. And that thing I'm referring to is the lack of knowledge of accessibility features going into the game's launch. I've researched this topic online, I looked on the PlayStation Store, nothing. And it really irks me because I really want to check this game out and I want to try it out and see if it would be good and accessible. It seems it's going to be gory and bloody and violent and visceral and all the great things that I, as a fan of the franchise, love. The one thing that I am concerned about is for gamers who are blind or who have low vision who cannot see the game, how do we know that the game will be accessible for us? We don't. And you would think that Focus Interactive would have put the accessibility features up before the game's launch. I know a lot of games are like this on the PSN store. Mortal Kombat 1 was like this. I know Gotham Knights was like this. I had to literally take a whim on Mortal Kombat 1. Luckily, it was accessible. Thank God to the late Super Blind man, and thank God for Cradlehead. But we're talking about Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 tonight. And I really wanted to just get this off my chest in this live video to say that I really believe that more developers and publishers need to be a little more transparent with their accessibility, because it will help gamers with disabilities, not just gamers without sight, but gamers with disabilities, to make informed gaming purchases. And, this is just an example. I know, what's the name of that game? Oh, yeah. WWE 2K24 was like this too. No one knew what it was going to be like in terms of accessibility. It turns out it was the same old thing as last year. No improvements, no quality of life, none of that. But we didn't know because they weren't transparent about it. I think that the developers of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, I know they released their roadmap as far as updates and content, and I don't think there was anything about accessibility. I could be wrong. So again, I'm not trying to be accusatory or point guilty fingers here, but I'm just wanting things to be a little more transparent as far as accessibility. Not only with Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, but with a lot of other games. Like, okay, I'll give an example. I searched for wrestling on the PlayStation storefront just to see if there's any wrestling games I haven't heard of or wanted to check out. WWM 24 popped up. What's that? I think it's going to be like a card simulation type wrestling game. But again, my focal point here is not that. It's accessibility. I didn't know what accessibility features it would have. Now, granted, maybe the developers don't, they haven't really ironed out the accessibility yet. But even if they haven't done that, they need to, I think, be a little more transparent with what we're going to get as consumers, because that would help, people to make informed purchasing choices. Like, okay, I'll give another example. Until Dawn, the 2024 remaster. It's going to have a lot of accessibility, including a screen reader. It's going to have other assists. And how do I know this? I checked the PlayStation Store, and it had the accessibility features listed. It had them listed. Now, for Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, I checked, and again, it didn't have it listed. So, again, I didn't know what I was going to get. Now, one thing that publishers such as Ubisoft do, they're really good about transparency and accessibility. They will flat out tell you if their game is going to be accessible for blind and low-vision players, like for Star Wars Outlaws, it won't be fully accessible to a totally blind player without sighted assistance. Now that's going to be an adventure in and of itself, and yes, I will be streaming the game day one and giving my thoughts and impressions on the accessibility, like I always do. Um, because I've already pre-ordered it. It's ready to rock and roll for when it is ready to play. Now, with Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, if anybody in the comment section can tell me what these accessibility features are, I would love to know, and I'm sure a lot of other people would like to know too. So, I want to say this as far as um, ending or concluding this rather short engagement. And that's this. So, any developer, any publisher of any game, not on any platform, no matter what it is, being open with your accessibility features so that way consumers with disabilities and gamers with disabilities can make informed purchasing choices. That would greatly help people with disabilities to make an informed purchasing choice not only for themselves but for their family, loved ones, friends, etc. when it comes to gaming purchases. So, with that being said, I want to say thank you to everybody for watching this rather short stream tonight. And I want to let everybody know that tomorrow night I'll be back to streaming gameplay with Mortal Kombat 1 as I do more invasions and Combat League stuff. And then Friday, the big day, Star Wars Outlaws Day 1, baby. And then I don't know what we'll do Saturday, if anything. So, with that being said, again, if you want to add to the conversation in the comments, feel free to do so. Again, but this is something that really needs to be addressed, not only with Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, but just with a bunch of other games as well. Like I know NBA 2K25, they didn't have any accessibility features listed. Um, I know with EA Sports UFC 5, I pre-ordered it and got burned because of not knowing that the game would not have a screen reader at launch. I highly doubt that game was going to get a screen reader, but the point being, had I known that, I probably wouldn't have wasted money on it. But my ask is this for developers and publishers: be more transparent with your accessibility so gamers that have not only no vision but that have disabilities can make informed purchasing decisions about the games they want to buy. With that being said, this has been your host, Blind Motor Gamer, saying so long, everyone, and peace out.